Lauren asks, I'm always scared I'm going to lose my mind or forget who I am because of my intrusive thoughts. They scare me so much. So much to say about this, Lauren, but we'll try to keep it short and sweet. So fear of losing your mind or my mind is number one fear, Michelle, right? Is there anything that tops that?
Going crazy, dying, or embarrassing yourself? Or what if I stay in this heightened permanent state of discomfort forever for the rest of my life?
Yes.
Those I think are the top four.
Yes. But I really think number one is what if I go crazy, lose my mind? So what this translates into is always, if I lose control. So if I lose control mentally, that would be the mental death. If I lose control over my body, over my palpitations, that could mean physical death. But it's ultimately this fear of losing control. You can diffuse this thought by saying, if I do lose my mind and go crazy from anxiety, I would be the first person in history to do so. So I would be famous, and you would, because it has never happened and it will not happen. But of course, it feels like that because there's so much buildup of energy that has no place to go. So it's stuck in your body and it's stuck in your mind. And since your brain can't identify an external threat for the elevated stress hormones, it turns inwards and asks, well, maybe you're next, maybe it is you, maybe it's your brain, maybe something's wrong with you, and so on. And when we fuse too much to those thoughts and take them literally and go like, oh yeah, what if that is true? What if that is true? Then of course, these thoughts will push us around. So the approach to this is no different than the approach to all other anxious thoughts by expecting them. This is, I think, so important. We cannot be highly sensitized, highly anxious, and expect our mind to produce nice, calm, loving thoughts, right? So expect that your mind will produce these thoughts, but don't take them seriously and diffuse them by saying either what I just mentioned, being humorous about it, running towards them, or by just saying, you know what, whatever. These are just stress hormones I'm feeling.
Right.
Yeah. And intrusive thoughts, Michelle. Intrusive thoughts. Intrusive thoughts.
I hate that term, intrusive thoughts. Hate it.
Why?
Because there's no like intruder. There's no
right.
intruder. There's no. And when you use that term, it's like something's here and it doesn't belong here. I need to get rid of it. And it's usually that reminds me of crazy. Like I don't know what crazy is. Like I've never been crazy, but this reminds me of crazy. Better get rid of these thoughts. Where that thought come from? And then we try and figure out thoughts. What happens is we end up, the only problem is you're treating thoughts of danger as danger. And it never matters when it comes to this, what the content of your thought is. We have heard it all. And it doesn't matter. We don't care what your thoughts are. We care which thoughts you're fighting. Because the thoughts you're fighting the most are the ones you're treating the most like danger. And as long as you're fighting something, your alarm, right, this little protector, is designed to show you exactly what you're fighting as clearly as possible. So we think we're trying to get rid of it. What we're actually doing is we're telling our alarm, show us more thoughts like this. And it will, right? Who here deals with intrusive thoughts? And the more you try and get rid of it, the more you find. And the more it becoons like an Amazon shopping like the page, like customers who are also interested in this might also be interested in this. And you're like, oh shit, I don't like that thought either.
And when we have these thoughts and when we so strongly fuse to them, like when they appear and we're like, oh, we can't see anything else. We're so fused to them, right? We don't see anything else. We look through that thought and perceive our whole world through that label of danger. And diffusion really means to get some distance. Right? So you're not pushing that thought away. I stole it from my husband.
Back scratcher? Oh, it's a camera.
No, it's a camera holder.
I like that.
Right? And diffusion doesn't mean to not have that thought, right? It means to still have that thought, but now you see there is some distance. Now I can choose to have another perspective. I can treat this thought as just a thought, because really an intrusive thought is just a thought with a hook.
Right. If you're telling me you're struggling with thoughts, your problem is not your thoughts. Your problem is the struggle. The struggle is identifying thoughts as danger. They are not. We think if I get rid of these thoughts, I can prevent some future danger from happening. You will not. You will not make the future or prevent the future. But because your body sends you fear, fear comes with the sense of urgency that I feel like I need to do something. It's just kind of hooked onto the wrong thing. It now, by the way you are treating thoughts as if they are danger. So your alarm just thinks it's a bear. So it's going to show it to you very clearly. You're not just going to see the thought here. You're going to see the thought like this. And the more closely you see, the more details you'll find. What you focus on is what you see. Dare is learning indifference, irrelevance, not elimination. So if you're like, oh, I tried dare, but I'm still having thoughts. Most still have thoughts. You have a brain, right? Picture your brain as just like another organ in your body, and thoughts are the sensations that it creates. It's really no different than somebody with heart palpitations and every skip beat. They're like, am I going to die right now? Is that a heart attack? Is that a heart attack? What if it's a heart attack? You're treating thoughts that your brain makes the same way. Oh, what about that thought? Is my brain about to shut down? What about now? What about now? You're not, just like the person with heart palpitations is not keeping themselves from having a heart attack by staring at their heart. You're not keeping yourself from going crazy by staring at your brain. You're just staring at your brain all day. So it's learning how to notice and then engage back into life, right? E steps you out of that cycle, whether it's a thought, a physical sensation, a feeling, learning how to treat the discomfort not as danger, right? Act as if it's not danger, not the thoughts are still there, the sensations are still there. That's 90% of the questions that come in. What about heart palpitations? What about dizziness? What about derealization? They are all some version of thoughts, feelings, and sensations, and these are not your problem. This might be the catalyst that starts the problem. This might be the discomfort that we treat the wrong way. But when we treat the discomfort as danger, that's the problem that gets going. The cycle of the fight of the discomfort is the problem. So allowing thoughts to become unimportant by treating them as unimportant. And we can talk about that forever, but that's the gist of that question.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, I'll talk forever about that.
And treat them like background noise. Like when you sensitize, don't expect your mind, right, to be calm. Expect it to bring up thoughts. And, it's like have me talking, focusing on Michelle, and there is this noisy background, right? So somebody's talking in the background. It's hard for me to focus.
Oh, I'm like, is that something's talking in the background? You see, I didn't even know you were doing that. I'm like, oh my gosh, is that me?
But I'm still focusing. But if I only focus, oh my God, what is this? What is this? And why? I cannot focus on Michelle. I cannot do this call. But I can say, okay, this is playing. I'm going to put it to the side and I'm still going to focus on this, trusting that this will calm down in time as my nervous system desensitizes.
Right.